seems like financing is a never-ending battle that creeps its way into the user experience eventually. I mean, it's something to be expected in a free-to-play game, but the bigger the game is, the more complicated the situation is. And so, a few days ago, we got a new report about the well-being of Riot's esports. With the catch being, there is technically nothing new there. What is new though is the news that dropped right after that. It's a whole new partnership with Riot Games. And so, let's dive into all of that. So first, the big report that dropped was specifically about how much money is Riot's esports making, focusing on the area of LEC. Long story short, none really. This all came from a Sheep esports article, where we learned that year after year LEC is losing more money, with 2023 being especially interesting because the expenses massively outweigh the revenue gained. And so, as of right now, altogether LEC lost over 53 million euros. Is this surprising? Not really, but it's not because LEC would be bad or because something sketchy would be happening. Although, to be fair, LEC does have sketchy parts of its history, but in this case, it is all part of Riot's plan. In fact, a few years ago, Travis got an interview with the head of esports, where they talked about the fact that esports in general are not really about making money, or at least not in the way people would expect. And so we knew about this being the case for years now. With the key twist being that while the expenses in 2023 were especially bad, at the same time, the same year, Riot made a lot more money. And that's because esports can be seen as really good marketing. I mean, if you look at the state of League of Legends, I think anyone would be able to tell you that if the League of Legends esports weren't that big, the game could be potentially in massive trouble. In League's case, its esports is a massive reason why the game keeps staying relevant. It's because it was turned into more than a game. It actually became a sport. But while the esport part of it is not directly making money, it is keeping the players engaged with the game, which is where the investment returns. This is why Riot is fine with losing money on esports. It is an investment that gives Riot massive value long term, be it viewed as marketing or the enhancement of their culture. That's something we talked about in the last video. With that said, when it comes to LEC specifically, people pointed out improvements that could be made. Now, people know that while I am trying to keep up with esports in general, I am no expert on this topic. I am probably not even an intermediate. But thankfully, as the conversation started, people made posts, and soon people agreed that the franchising of LEC could be a lot better. Basically, with the massive buy-ins the teams have to go through in order to get into LEC, it feels like this league is an investment for the teams to make some money later through sponsors and merch, meaning that we always see the same teams make it in, and they don't even have to try and push the competitive side. Instead, people would love it if they could get a little bit more of a regional take on this, where they could relate to the teams. Can Riot fix that specifically? I'm not really sure, but I can tell you that we did already get a comment from a writer on this. Now, a little bit of context, in the original article at the very end, we got a comment from the author who argued that the downfall of LEC could be linked to Tencent. Here, I would like to let everyone know, again, Tencent rarely does anything to its companies. They have so much money that when they invest into game developers, they don't do anything. Because they know if they pressure the developer into doing something, they will lose money. Only those who are free to do whatever they want can make good games. Tencent know this, which is why they never do anything. That's how they make the money. And so no, once again, Tencent investing in Riot Games has nothing to do with any of this. All the bad decisions are unfortunately always made by Riot Games themselves. So with this said, let's now have a look at the official reply. Hey folks, appreciate your effort to trying to make the financials a little more transparent. But there are a few things in the article which are either missing context or are straight up incorrect, which I wanted to take a second to clarify. Let me start by saying that looking at a singular entity in a complex corporate structure, like Riot's, can easily tell a misleading story if taken out of context. In this case, it has led to your data being incomplete and therefore wrong in the way it is presented. Which means the numbers specifically are not wrong, but they are being presented wrong. A few corrections on the depiction of Tencent. This is why I gave you the context on Tencent. Tencent has never asked us for dividends, and we have never given them any. Tencent does not tell us how to operate our business, and we are not under pressure to make esports profitable. That is not at all how we approach it. So yes, there you go, a direct confirmation that Tencent has nothing to do with esports. We do not primarily look at esports as an advertisement vehicle, although it can be. Esports is a core part of our DNA given the competitiveness of our games, and of course plays a huge role in making our games some of the most watched and played in the world. Now yes, I did mention that esports are mainly used as advertising for the game, and here, while we are being told that that's not really the case, it is not the case directly. Indirectly, you are still making the game something more than it is for the sake of it being relevant longer, or even staying relevant while the game itself dies. So in Riot's term, yes, esports are more of part of their culture, I guess. Lastly, and most importantly, esports has never been about short-term returns to us. It is about building fandom, creating an amazing fan experience, which esports is a critical part of, and giving players more ways to connect with the game we all love. This is pretty much a confirmation for what I just said. Even if the player base of the game dies, it may still be played as a kind of a sport, which has always been the main goal of League's esports. And so now, while some people may look at the stats from LEC as a massive failure, in reality, it's not really. As far as we know, everything is functioning the way it was intended to, regardless of how much money esports can make. And so, overall, it shouldn't be as big of a deal as people make it up to be. That is, once again, with LEC already having some parts of a sketchy history. Now, what did become quite unfortunate with all of this is that with the unfortunate timing of coming out only a day ago, Riot announced a whole new partnership mainly around esports with Coinbase. Now, let's talk about that one. So in case you don't know, Coinbase is sort of a hub for dealing with cryptocurrencies. Yes, it is a cryptocurrency marketplace, which immediately smacked people with an interesting thought. Is Riot gonna be directly supporting gambling? Because that's what all the other esports are circling around. In a lot of cases, there are a lot of betting websites around them, but here, thankfully, that does not seem to be the case. And Riot even confirmed there will be no integrations of cryptocurrencies in their games. But that doesn't mean that people are not skeptical. And so, here is the official post we got. We are bringing on Coinbase as an official partner of Valorant and LoL esports global events, becoming the exclusive cryptocurrency exchange and a blockchain technology partner starting with the VCT Masters Toronto, which begins June the 7th. I am pretty sure this part had like 7 red flags in the form of sketchy words. Just connecting League of Legends and a blockchain is scary. Coinbase will contribute a number of fan-facing enhancements including custom segments, event activations, hospitality promotions, and giveaways for Valorant and LoL esports fan, all to be integrated in future events. Now again, as far as we know, cryptocurrencies should not be part of this directly. So this will be probably special missions that will give you some blue essence, or just watching esports. Think of the KitKat promotions, but now it's Bitcoin. As a digital-first brand, Coinbase has built strong reputation supporting numerous global sports brands including NBA, the WNBA, Golden State Warriors, Los Angeles Clippers, Aston Martin Aramco in Formula 1, and our friends at Team Liquid. We look forward to collaborating together to create deeper fan experiences across League and Valorant esports for years to come. Of course, the first thing people bring up here is the FTX debacle with TSM. That was a whole another cryptocurrency disaster. And so yes, League fans were already burned. Hence why everyone is still skeptical. But while it seems like Riot purposefully made their post very short, Coinbase itself actually gave us some more details. Coinbase will introduce new in-game segments as part of this partnership, including the first of its kind Econ report in Valorant and Gold Grind in LoL esports, which will provide viewers with live analysis of each game's in-match currency movement and its impact on team strategies. In other words, I'm gonna assume it's like the Baron power play for Red Bull, except now it is Coinbase Gold Count. Coinbase will also unlock drops to viewers during events, including emotes and icons that fans can redeem. And we will partner on promotions with exclusive pricing, such as the chance to win an all-expenses-paid trip for two to Valorant Champions Tour or League Worlds competitions. So yes, we are getting drops, kinda like the KitKat stuff, and I'm gonna assume the in-game integrations will be, again, missions mostly. It's a partnership that will allow for future innovations in esports partnership space too. Over the course of the season, we will explore opportunities to share insight and enhance the fan experience through Web3 technology. So, hearing Web3 is really scary too. Now, I'll be honest, I don't have that much experience with Web3 and anything that's around it, because I purposefully kinda look away whenever it pops up. And that's because every time it pops up, something horrible is behind it. And so I don't know what Coinbase can do with League, but it's gonna be interesting to see. So overall, is this a bad partnership? That's hard to say. Is it a sketchy one? Definitely, but that's mostly because of the reputation that cryptocurrency has in general, with Web3 also not having the greatest of reputations, and that's because so far nobody has really turned this into a successful integration. Though I will have to admit, I have no idea what they are doing in NBA, I didn't even know that Coinbase did something there. And so the question still should be, do we want to advertise cryptocurrencies to League players? Probably not. And so fingers crossed everything will work out. Because if it doesn't, oh boy, the reputation's gonna be interesting. League already has gacha, now there is Web3, there are cryptocurrencies. And so you know what, let's just pray that the champion icons are not gonna become NFTs.